What's up, guys? Going to continue on with the CD collection. We are on part 48. Finally wrapped up the D's and moving on to the E's. We should not be on the E section nearly as long as we were stuck in the D section. There's some letters that just have more band names than others, but finally kind of got over that little hump and moving forward. Starting off with the E's, we have a band that is simply just titled E. It is E with a little arrow mark, little arrow slash on top. It is a band out of France, and the name of this album is Caribum. They are brutal death metal fused with death doom, if that's possible. It's kind of brutal death doom, if that's even a thing. I do enjoy this. This band, despite being out of France, has these Persian and mid-Eastern themes going on in their music. I find this highly enjoyable. I'm not sure if the band is still active. This album came out around 2011, I'm wanting to say, and it was their last full length. They have one that came out prior to this. It kind of leaned itself a bit more just to the straight brutal death metal realm. But I love the doomy aspects that they added in on this sophomore release. Would like to hear some more from them, but I'm not sure if they're still together or not. But I do dig that release quite a bit. Next up, we have a band out of Canada. This is fronted by the ex-Vovoid frontman Eric Forrest. This is EForce with Evil Forces. I believe this is their debut album. If not, it is their second. It's been out quite some time now. I got this in a Season of Mist grab bag a little while ago. Thrash metal, it's pretty decent. It's not terrible. I have not sought out any more of their material after listening to this, but if I'm in the mood for something like this, I can definitely pull it off and get into it. It's just not something that I'm going to listen to every day. Speaking of things that I'm not going to listen to every day, we have Early Graves with We the Guillotine. This is hardcore, kind of has some crossover vibes going on with this. I got this in it was a very large CD lot that was all Metal Blade Records releases, and this one was in there. I did enjoy this more than I was expecting to by first looking it up before I even listened to it. I didn't really have high hopes for this one. Kind of set it to the side for a very long amount of time before actually giving it a shot, but it's still in the collection. It did earn a place on the shelf. It's not terrible, but it's just not something that I'm going to listen to all the time. Next up, we have some ambient black metal out of Belgium. This is Earth King with Cycling Between Sun and Moon. This one has been out a little while. I remember picking this up around the same time that I started this channel, so I've had this album in my possession for probably 6-7 years now, and I do dig it. Ambient black metal, it's got some atmospherics going on, obviously, with the ambience. You can kind of see those nature themes going on. It is the only album that this band put out, but for what it is a pretty good release. I do enjoy that. Next up, we have some punk from members of the band Abscess. This is Eat My Fuck with Fuck You, It's Eat My Fuck. This is a little, I think this may be the only release they put out. I'm not sure. I got this in a either Rick sent me this or I got this in a Horror Pain Gore Death grab bag. It's just a little 3-inch disc. It has 8 tracks, but I mean, it's not bad. It's fun. It's not something that I'm going to pull off and play every day. It's not really my type of music, but it is very sleazy, so I can get behind that part. But it's just some kind of sleazy punk goodness there. Next up, we have some grindcore, some death grindcore. This is Eat the Living with Brains. This band is pretty fun. The vocalist for this, I cannot remember her name. It was right there on the. I will probably remember it about halfway through this video. Maybe it. No, I was hoping maybe just there on the inside of the case, her name would be right in there. But she has some like ungodly screams that go on in this release. I think her vocals are probably one of my favorite things from this band. But this is some pretty fun stuff. You can find this album super cheap still. If you can get your hands on it for a few dollars, then I definitely suggest that you do so. But that is Eat the Living with Brains. Actually, it's Brains, but moving on. We have Eat the Turnbuckle with the A Great American Bash Your Head In EP. I thought this was a compilation when I first saw it. I know that Rick sent this in for the giveaway that we were doing, and I gave that copy away, and I did a 30 CD grab bag from Horror, Pain, Gore, Death, and I have my own copy. This is fun, death metal. This is some more kind of chunky, grindy. I thought, as I said earlier, I thought it was a compilation until I actually got to looking into it and listening to it. But it is a band. They call their style of music ultra violence. So I mean, it kind of has a power violence death metal feel going on there, but it's pretty fun. Next up, we have some atmospheric black metal out of Ohio. I don't know why a band out of Ohio would make their band name so hard to pronounce, but this is Echushkia with Earth and Sea. This is a compilation of pretty much all of the material from this band. I can't even pronounce the label that this was released on either. I know this was limited to, I think, around 300 copies. But it is pretty good. Even being a compilation, it flows pretty well, and the production on it is surprisingly pretty consistent throughout. It's not super clean, but it's not so muddy and murky that some black metal bands kind of get into that so muddy and murky territory that it's almost unlistenable. This band finds a happy medium, and this album, this compilation, thankfully, is very consistent on the production. So that was very enjoyable. Next up, we have some death metal out of Russia. Old school death metal, I'll say. This is 90s death metal. I believe this was first released in 1999 and reissued around 2006 on Blacksmith Productions. This is Eclipse with the Symphonies of Pathological Love, Calling Our Desires. I love this release. I was just listening to this. If you follow my Instagram, you probably saw me post this last week or about a week or two ago. I know that I was really digging this one and getting into it. Some gnarly looking gore there on the inside. I think it's track number 9, Cutting, Tearing, and Extracting. That one gets really groovy, and it's just, man, I love it. I almost want to listen to this again right after this video is over. So good stuff there out of Russia. Next up, we have a kind of Black and Death doomy project. This is some of their earlier material. I'm gonna butcher their band name. This is Ecnophias with Cold Winds from Beyond. This is a compilation of earlier stuff. It has a full album that was released in 2007 entitled Dominium Noctis. Then it has a 2008 EP, and then it has their November demo that had material from 1996 through 2005. This compilation, I don't know if I said it was entitled Cold Winds from Beyond. This is some of their stronger material. This is a band out of Italy. I'm not sure if I said that. And this leans heavier into the blackened realm. They kind of went this gothy route later in their discography, but I really dig this. This is some of their stronger material in my humble opinion. Next up, we have some psychedelic doomy stuff. I got this in a Relapse Records grab bag. This is Sonic Praise with Ecstatic Vision. I mean, you can tell what you're getting into just from the album art. I mean, it matches the sound on this release quite well. I mean, that you kind of see what you're getting into there. I mean, it's just fuzzy, psychedelic, slow stuff. Next up, we have some power metal out of Germany, and this is a band that I keep telling myself I'm going to pick up some more material from, and I never do. This is AOTY with Mandrake, and I love this full length. This may be my favorite full length, barring the next one that I'm going to show from this band. But they have some other releases that I would like to score to add into the collection as well. I just never get around to doing it. I don't know why. I don't know why I've been slacking so hard on picking up some AOTY material. This one has been out for a little bit, released on the N Records, but I don't see a date. There's a sticker on the back that's probably covering that up, but I know that one's been out for quite some time now. And then I have another full length. This is one of their latter full lengths that they put out. I think the band is actually on hiatus now, but this one came out in 2014. This one is entitled Space Police, Defenders of the Crown. This is a fun release. I just looking at them now and kind of reminiscing on these. I want to. I'll probably leave this video and go to eBay or Discogs or something and start looking at some more of their full lengths, and then I'll kind of judge the price there, and then I'll end up probably not purchasing anything. But I always say I'm going to put more AOTY in the collection. Maybe this will be in the kick in the pants I need to do that. Moving on, we're going to go through a stack of stuff that is not metal at all. So the next roughly 6 or 7 CDs are not metal. So if you want to skip ahead, feel free to do so. But this is a band. I talk about my high school years quite a bit in this CD collection series I've found. But this is a band that I fell in love with early on in high school, and that love for this band has kind of stuck around. They're kind of, I mean, they're a very popular rock band, so a lot of you have probably already heard of them. For me, in high school, they were kind of depressive pop, and it was something that just stood out to me back then, and I still enjoy it today. The band I'm talking about is the Eels, and this is Beautiful Freak. This came out in 1996. I remember seeing the video for Novocaine for the Soul. I think it was, they used to have these MTV, they called them buzz clips, when they showcased a new artist or a new song, and I saw that on there. And I think it remains to this day like one of their bigger songs. It's not even that great of a song now looking back, but then, my kind of narrow mind then, it just kind of hooked me in, and it's just a band that has stuck with me ever since. Then they released this album, I think, in 1998, and this probably still remains my favorite Eels album of all time. This is Electroshock Blues. You can kind of feel some of the angst that Mark was going through creating this with the loss of his sister. I mean, it's these poppy, uplifting sounding songs that are so depressive when you actually look into the lyrics and read more into it. And then the more you read into it, it just can get super depressing. So, but definitely probably my favorite Eels album there. Definitely the one I've spent the most amount of time with. Then we have one that's probably one of my least favorite. We have Eels with Daisies of the Galaxy. This one was definitely one of their higher publicized and played. This one hit like pop culture pretty heavy. It was in a lot of movie soundtracks. I know some of their other stuff is also like in Shrek and that type stuff later on, but this was the one that it just seemed like this album was everywhere, and I just didn't quite pick this one up. This one just didn't reach out and grab me like some of their other stuff did. It does have one of my favorite tracks, the I Like Birds. I do love that track, but the album itself is not one of the more played albums for me. The next is one of the probably second most depressive of their albums for me. This one kind of hit me at a tough time in my life. This is Eels with Souljacker, and this one, yeah, there was some like dark moments in my life that kind of resonate with me when I listen to this one back. It's become a bit of a hard listen because of the memories that come flooding back. It is 2 disc because it has the Rotten World Blues EP included with it. But yeah, that one's tough for me. It's just some things that I won't even get into in this video, but there are some definite memories tied up into that release. This case has definitely seen better days. I forgot that it was in bad shape before I started recording this, but that's Eels with Souljacker. And then we probably have my least favorite of the albums that I own. This is Eels with Shootin' Annie. I ended up picking this one up secondhand. I saw it and I got it for so cheap that I figured I would go ahead and grab it and put it in the collection because, like, even the bad Eels albums, I still like some of the material on there. I'm kind of going through these kind of quick because I know a lot of you probably aren't into this stuff. And then we have probably the most depressive of all the Eels albums for me. This one can tear me up too. This is Eels with Blinking Lights. This is a 2-disc album. And man, there's just some brutally sad stuff going on this. This one kind of abandons some of that poppy uplifting feel and just goes straight for the jugular and some of the depressive stuff. This was actually the last one that I picked up for quite some time. And this one, I stumbled across a video for one of the tracks on this one. This is Eels with the Cautionary Tales of Mark Oliver Everett. Mark is the front man and the main driving force behind Eels. This one came out in 2014. For me, it doesn't feel like it has been out that long, but the song on here, Mistakes of My Youth, I stumbled across that video one day and it kind of brought me back in with the Eels. And I got a huge gap in the discography between this, and then there's some that came out after this, but it's just one of those. I'm not gonna seek them out just too painstakingly. If they happen to fall in my lap or I see them come across at a good price, I will pick them up. But Mistakes of My Youth, I really like that song. It just kind of feels like playing like it's one of those songs that I think I could have played at my funeral. Okay, moving back into the metal realm. That's what we're all here for. We have a nasty, awesome release off of Severed Records. This is Hegemony with Baptism of the Unborn. This is just fiery, filthy death metal. It's kind of brutal death grind, if we can call it that. I forget where this band is out of. I am not sure. This is the only full length that they put out, unfortunately, but this one is an absolute ripper. I do dig this one quite a bit, so I may put this one to the side and give it a spin sometime shortly after this video is over. Next up, we have some grindcore. This is some 90s grindcore that is out of Japan, and it sounds everything that you can imagine 90s grindcore sounds like. It is nauseating grindcore. This is Ego Fix with Total Filth Squad, and this is their entire discography from 1995 to 1997. I guess that was the only time that this band was going. There are 42 tracks on this CD, so I mean it's grindcore in every sense of the word, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's fuzzy. It's if you're into that type of stuff, you'll dig it. If you're not a fan of grindcore and grindy stuff, you're going to absolutely hate this release. But I mean, for what it is, it's fun. It's not something I can listen to and stand to listen to every day, but it is a fun release. Next up, we have some power metal, kind of proggy power metal, and I've had this one in my collection for as long as I can remember. This came out in 2000. I know I've had this in my possession for way too long. Just for the simple fact that when I received this is completely away from what you would think I would be listening to at the time. I hated stuff like this when this came out, but for some reason this one kind of stuck out to me, and it stayed with me all this time. This is Eidolon with Nightmare World, And I don't know what it was. Even back then, when I first got this, I thought, you know, when it started playing, I was like, man, this is going to be cheesy. I'm going to hate it. But something about it just kind of stuck with me, and it is stuck in the collection now for going on 22 years. So that's definitely something that I'm not going to complain about. I only own one other release from Eidolon. I'm probably even saying their band name wrong. I'm not even sure. This is the Parallel Otherworld, I think is the name of it, and this is by far my favorite release from the band. I've checked out some of their other material, but they just don't. It just doesn't stick with me, kind of like these two albums did. This one came out in 2006, and I enjoy both of these albums quite a bit. Kind of thrashy, power metal at times, just some progressive stuff, but good listen altogether. Next up, we have a band. I'm horrible with my geography today. I can't remember where this band is out of either. This is kind of a fuse of thrash and death metal. This came out, I'm thinking, in 2002 or 2003, and Black Mark reissued it in 2004. This is 8-foot Satvia or Sativa with Season for Assault. This is definitely my favorite release from this project. It is the only one that I own, but it is some just thrash and death fuse stuff together that is just phenomenal. I mean, it is an assault on your eardrums, as you can kind of gather from all the bullets and gas mask. I mean, it's a war on your eardrums, but the only winner of that war is the listener. Next up, we have some atmospheric black metal out of Russia. This is contains a member of Elderwind. This is Iceflamin. This band is out of Russia, but the band name is actually German. I don't remember what the translation. It's something Flames is what the rough translation is of the band name. I cannot tell you the album title because it's in Russian and I do not speak Russian. But this is kind of a more cold, kind of has that icy feel, kind of a more harsh atmospheric black metal. Definitely more harsh than Elderwind ever was. But this is solid stuff. I do dig this one. I think Bono over at Good Music Promotions digs this band as well. They have a release that came out earlier this year. I do have that in my collection. It will not be in this video because it's on the portion of the shelf that I have reserved for new releases. I keep them separate until the end of the year. So, but killer stuff there out of Russia. Next up, we have a band. Started out as black metal, kind of went over into like this electronic and ambient realm with some black metal elements going in it. This is their latest full length. This is Ekove or Ekove, Efreets with Nowhere. This was released on Hypnotic Dirge. I think this band may be out of Italy as well. I'm not 100% on that. I don't remember. Just off the top of my head, I probably shouldn't even said where I thought they were from. But for me, for some reason, my brain's telling me Italy, but at the same time, part of me feels like that's wrong. I like some of their earlier stuff. This isn't bad. I got this fairly cheap, and it's not going to be for everybody. The ambience and the electronic stuff on this kind of overtakes the majority of the album, but for what it is, it's not just terrible. Next up, we have an album that Luke over at Death Metal Fan has been an advocate for. He especially was around the time that this came out. He was playing this nonstop and was on all of his little collages and everything that he does. And I still see it pop up on those collages every day. But this is just some raunchy themed death metal. This is elbow deep with Sexually Offensive. I mean, you can kind of see from the Transformer just wearing out the Power Wheels car there with the kids in it, what you're getting into. Yeah, this is some raunchy stuff. It's funny. It's tongue-in-cheek. I'm not going to read off any of those. I don't know if my camera is going to focus. I'm not going to read off any of those song titles because I don't want this video taken down. It's funny. I mean, it's very dark humor. It's not something that you can just linger on the lyrics too long, or if it's something that you're easily offended, you're not going to want to listen to. But it's fun. Next up, we have the next three albums are all the same band. And it's atmospheric black metal, ambient black metal out of Norway that gatekeeper black metal fans love to hate this band. This is Eldemar, and this is the Force of the Ancient Land. I love Eldemar. I know it's a very polarizing band. Summoning worship, yes, summoning worship is definitely seen in this. Very melodic. I think the fact that it's so melodic and so harmonious is a reason why some kind of true cult black metal fans absolutely just don't like this. But I'm head over heels in love with this band. I have their split with Dreams of Nature. Eldemar's has one track that's 11 minutes, and then Dreams of Nature has one track that's about 9 minutes. But it's just that nature themed. Dreams of Nature has that same feel, that just very, very melodic, atmospheric black metal stuff. There's the inside, and then there's the back. Not just a whole lot going on with that. And then their last or latest full length, a dark forgotten past. Yeah, a dark forgotten past. I didn't quite enjoy this one as much as the debut full length, but it is a good listen nonetheless. I still pull this one off the shelf. Actually, pull all three of these off still often to this day, and give them spins. When the mood strikes me for this, then I can get this in the rotation easily with those. There's so many Russian atmospheric black metal bands that I listen to, but Eldemar kind of fits that bill as well. They can fit right in with those guys. Just that very melodic, atmospheric, ambient style of black metal, very nature driven stuff, but I absolutely love them. But that's all for this one. I will try to have another one up next Sunday and just keep the ball rolling. I think I'm just going to keep these coming up on Sundays. Gives me something to shoot for and kind of keeps me on track. So as long as you guys are watching them, I'll keep the collection videos going. I'll see you guys soon, I promise.